I've been a real estate investor since 2006, and I've been an entrepreneur since I've been freshman in high school. That's over 30 years of entrepreneurship, and I've never borrowed money from a stinky banker or put anything on a credit card. I just use creativity and imagination. Today's session is about why I quit being a landlord. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to show you what I'm doing that's a lot better than being a landlord. So let's dive in. The story goes something like this. But before I tell you the story, I want to let you know being a landlord is one of the best things about America, because you're able to get so much tax reductions. You're able to have a forced equity that's inflation proof. Not only the asset, but also the cash flow. You're able to create yourself cash flow and so many different good things. But I want to talk about some of the bad things about it. Okay, so let's go. The story goes like this. Being a landlord, you have to be willing to do evictions, no matter how great a job you do filtering out tenants. Okay, because life situations happens to your tenants, like death in the family, loss of job transfer, etc. At the same time, you also have to be able to be willing to pay for stupid stuff that renters do that damage your property. A great example is I had this rental property, right? And the renters kept flushing the toilet and it wouldn't go through, and they kept flushing and flushing and flushing, and accordingly they had poop, they had contaminated water, and it just spilled everywhere on the ground, up to the walls, and start soaking it up, man. And this one little simple thing, cost me thousands of dollars. At the same time, I had to deal with the insurance company. I had to wait for that, and that only took almost like 2 years to get that money. But thank God I paid for it myself, because I had renters in there. It was just like such a headache, right? Because renters just are not going to take care of your property. They're going to be stupid about it. And there's also things that happen, like people will break in your property, steal your AC, steal coppers from the property when it's vacant. Tenants will like paint your property when you don't want it to be painted. They didn't ask for it. There's all kinds of knickknacks that go with the business. Now, I'm not complaining. I think those knickknacks are worth it, but I found a better solution, which I'll talk about in a second. Because being a landlord, you do get a lot of benefits, tax benefits, but it also comes with a headache of hearing people's sad stories, the thing of waiting for it to be rented again, the thing of maintenance. Okay, maintenance is very, very important. You constantly have to maintenance the AC, you have to maintenance this, maintenance that, and that takes into your profits. Okay, so why I quit being a landlord is because for many years I did it, a decade, and I realized that it's a great business and it's a transition. Instead of being a landlord, which is like, why not be the bank? And I'll explain that in a second. But it's like going from, like, let's say high school to college, because being the landlord, okay, I am responsible for that renter. Not only am I responsible for the damages they cause to my property, I'm also responsible for that renter liability-wise with, lawsuits and stuff like that. Where if I become the bank, then I release myself, I distance myself from all those responsibility, because I don't own the property anymore, especially when it comes to maintenance. For example, if the AC breaks, I'm the landlord, I'm getting a call, and worst case scenario, I might have to fork over $15,000 to fix that AC on a single residential home, okay, if not more. Now, on the flip side, if I'm the bank and the AC breaks, the owner of the property, well, guess what? They're the one that has to fix it, right? Not me. If the owner of the property doesn't cut the grass, right, and the city gives them a citation, if I'm the landlord, I'm the one getting it. You know what I mean? The property's under my name. But if I'm the bank, right, guess what? I'm not getting that citation. That owner is getting it. I don't own the property. I only own the note, the income producing asset. There's a lot of benefits of being the bank versus the landlord. Another reason it's great to be the bank is you're getting exactly cash flow, just like rent. But instead of being rent, where if they don't pay, you have to go collect, normally it's called mortgage services. They're just making mortgage payments to you. Now, there's a possibility that you will have to be able to foreclose on that property and take possession of the property back if the buyer defaults on the loan, but the chances are way less than renters. The chances of those buyers damaging the property up are way less, because the mindset of ownership, when you own something, you usually take care of it a lot more than whenever you're renting it. So I realized that being the bank is more powerful. Now let me give you an example. A seller calls me, they're motivated, they have a mortgage on the property. I still can become the bank on the exit part. What do I mean? I can buy the property even if they have a mortgage from them, and then turn around and resell it to a business owner that can get a loan, and I'll ask, okay, give me $30,000 down, and the monthly payments is this for 30 years or 15 years or whatever the story may be, okay? And here's the interest rate. Now, in this example, what I've created myself is 3 profit zones where I don't get that being the landlord. In a landlord situation, I only get first month rent and and a security deposit, right? That's it. But on this transaction, what I just talked about, I'm able to get 3 profit zones, a large down payment down for my property, even though I just took it over as subject to, okay? I just bought it with seller financing, owner financing, okay? I get a large down payment down, $30,000, $40,000, depends on the property, okay, up front. Next, I will wrap the existing note or mortgage with a new note at a higher interest rate, which causes me to have a positive cash flow, just like rent, but instead of being responsible for all the property liabilities of lawsuits, now I am becoming a higher positioning of being the lender versus the landlord. So I don't have to deal with that. The other thing that's very cool is that now I've created myself a large down payment, upfront money. 2, I've created myself monthly cash flow. And on the 3rd profit zone is that I'm gonna have an exit strategy of not exit strategy. When they cash out the loan, I'm able to sell the property for a lot higher price than the market demands, because I am providing a service that no one else is, and I'm providing seller financing, okay, to that buyer. What does that mean? Like, for example, if the CMA, the fair market value is, let's say, on the property $100,000, I might be able to get 107 for it, 110 for it. Why? Because I'm providing seller financing. They don't have to go traditional and qualify, etc. So I'm able to get a higher price, which means that whenever they cash out the loan, I'm going to get a big chunk of money at the back end. So I'm going to get 3 profit zones, being the bank versus the landlord. The bank, I get an upfront down payment, which is a big chunk of money. I'll get monthly cash flow because I'm wrapping the note with a new note with a higher interest rate, and then I'm able to sell the property for a higher price. Therefore, I am getting a big cash out payday whenever they cash out the loan, or they refinance, or whatever they do to pay off that debt they owe me, okay? And the great news is, in this scenario, I don't have to deal with the AC. I don't have to deal with the plumbing. I don't have to deal with the city plumbing. I don't have to deal with the city citations. I don't have to deal with the lawsuits, because I don't own this property. And any of that stuff comes to the owner of the property. I don't have to constantly look for renters. I don't have to constantly deal with, worrying about if they're going to tear up my property, because I'm asking a large down payment down. And when usually someone puts that large of a down payment down, they have skin in the game. Mentally, they own the property, and they're going to take care of it, way more than a renter. Okay, so that's the positive flow of not want to be a landlord. Now, there are pros and cons in anything in life, because we live in a world of dualities. Okay, so I look at it as stepping stones. For example, as Rich Dad Cash Flow Quadrant, you have the ESBI. Some people are having a job, and then from there they want to become an I, right? Unless you're a doctor or you make a lot of money, then it's not a really, in my opinion, not financial advice, great idea to do that, because in each quadrant you learn how new skills that you need. For example, if you have a job and then you start yourself a business, you're a sole proprietorship or something like that, and you're just working for yourself, right? You learn all kinds of skills you need, from sales to closing to websites to all kinds of stuff, right? Negotiation. And then if you go into a business system where now you have people working for you, now you learn a whole new set of skills, like, how to get funding, how to create systems, how to do better management, and so on. And then whenever you get into the I, then you know how to have your money work for you. So it's a transition. And I look at, being a landlord is a stepping stone to being a lender, because on the lender side, I do think it's a lot easier because I don't have to deal with finding new tenants constantly and all that good jazz that we had already talked about. But with anything, there's always pros and cons, guys. Don't take no for an answer. Peace, guys.